Vamos começar a conferência do Suicidal Tendencies. Quem quiser fazer a primeira pergunta, levanta a mão, fala o nome da mídia e depois o seu próprio nome, ok? Mas vamos começar pelo começo. Gostaria que eles falassem sobre como é que é essa produção o melhor lançamento desse disco e o primeiro com o Dave Lombardo.
Okay, the first it is about the new album, of course, the production, and the first with Dave. I would like to talk a little bit about it.
Show me the sound.
I get nervous. No. Well, a lot of times is that my head or are you hearing it too?
Sounds like what I hear on the
Thank you.
Which one is that? That one?
Can you turn it down? I think I was just gonna talk loud.
Yeah.
No gates. No gates. No gates. Yeah. Okay. Work for a second. So. For us, I think a lot of times people, my dad always told me people. So. My dad said a lot of times people go to the movies and you see people acting, and people that play different parts, you believe them. They may play a different part, and that's when you're a great actor. He goes, in life, a lot of people are acting and they don't know it. They play a role so much they forget who they are and who they can be. They're trying to be someone else. And I think that patterns, people get caught in patterns every day. They do the same thing. They forget about what life is about, what their dreams are, what they can be, what they want to be, what people tell them they can't, and why life is good. And just being in a band, I never thought I'd do it because I can't sing, and never thought it would last, and nor did I really care. First interview, people said, "What do you think you'll be doing in 5 years?" I said, "I doubt music, but if I am, I know I'll be proud of everything that I did." And because I'm going about it not as to get people to like me, I'm going to do something that I actually like. And whether people like it or not doesn't matter. And I think what happens when you do something so long, a lot of times people don't realize how much they're acting. So going on the question, this record, when people say, "Oh, you haven't done a record in a while," we said, we're not announcing we're doing a record. I told everybody, let's get together and start working on sounds and see how it goes. And if this isn't something that we feel very proud of, that we can say this will be the last, if it's the last record we've done, we'll be happy, we're not going to put it out. And so it was a challenge for us to do something that we felt was viable, that didn't sound nostalgic, that we felt that would be important, that people, when they were young, like I was when I was 15 and 16 and I really judged music, if I went back in time and heard that, how critical would I be and would I love that record? And that's the person that's important to me. And that's what we wanted to do with the record, is do something that we know that we'd be proud of now, but also when we first started loving music and hating music, it'd be something that we go like, this is something I'm into.
Well, vou tentar.
Try that!
Certainly, yeah, I will try. Então assim, ele disse no começo que às vezes as pessoas vão no cinema, né? E aí as pessoas veem cada parte. E às vezes elas se esquecem daquilo que elas realmente são, do que elas veem ali. Então, as pessoas têm que tentar ser aquilo que elas são. Essa vai ser a maioria da mensagem que ele vai passar para vocês, entendeu? Sobre o disco, eles fizeram tudo juntos e eles pensaram, bom, provavelmente pode ser o último álbum e se a gente sentir que não tá legal, a gente não põe, a gente não lança. Então, é mais ou menos isso aí.
I'm sorry. They don't understand me in America. It's like,
Quem que vai ser o primeiro?
very good.
Felipe Pilano, 87. Good evening, guys. Your new album's called World Gone Mad, so I was pretty curious. What was the inspiration behind the name? Was there any particular phenomenon in the recent years that inspired it?
Well, obviously, there's the obvious things that you get into, but being a parent and having 12 and 8-year-old and 6-year-old kid, when they come to me, they're like, hey, Dada, what's going on with this? It's a whole different perspective, than when you're 16 and you see what's going on in the world. And when you try to explain things that you really can't explain, it reminds you of when you're young and trying to have the ability to communicate in a way that's not lying. That I think when we get older, we lie a lot more. The truth is, you have to translate it into a way that it's not bad. And so I think it goes back to my dad. My dad always said, you know what, you're going to look, unless you put blinders on, you're going to see a lot of messed up stuff. A lot of people choose not to, and they put a smile on their face. But he goes, when you see something's wrong, you have a responsibility to try to do something about it. And in life, you got two choices. You can live your life and try to, in a positive way, or you can have excuses. And there's millions of excuses in the world on why everything's fucked up, And you can accept that, or you can, or say, no, I'm not going to live that way. I'm not going to be a part of the problem, So World Gone Mad is kind of saying, yeah, the world is fucked up. I'm not gonna argue that with anybody. You're not gonna have to get intellectual in that. It's fucked up. But you know what? Am I gonna be fucked up? I'm not gonna be part of that.
Yep. That's awesome. That's awesome.
For now on, yes, no questions. No.
Ele falou no começo, sim, mas porque a gente vai ficando velho e a gente acaba entendendo uma coisa que é sobre a mentira, saca? A gente não mente mais. Ele disse, deu o exemplo dos filhos dele, né? E ele está ensinando a eles a como viver, não viver numa mentira, tá? Que às vezes a gente pode ter desculpas ou dar desculpas ou querer fazer alguma coisa que a gente está com medo, entendeu? Então, o mundo, sim, o mundo está zoado, tá? E a gente pode escolher fazer parte disso ou não, tem que fazer alguma coisa para mudar isso. That's it.
Yeah, you can try this one, I think. No. Okay.
I don't want
Okay.
Quem é o próximo?
I will do it in Portuguese, ok?
Yeah.
Quando nós começamos a ouvir música, o único estilo que falava sobre o protesto das coisas que estavam erradas era o rock and roll. E com o passar dos anos se criou-se o rock, se criou-se o rap e o hip hop. Se ele acha que, na opinião deles, essa é a razão para o rock ter saído um pouco do mainstream.
Yeah, in the early days, the only kind of music that the lyrics were about protesting was rock. Yeah, and nowadays we have rap and we have another styles. Come on, dude.
Too much
Just
bass.
turn it down a little, please.
He turns it out.
Or turn it down. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you. So, do you think that's the reason that the rock just disappeared a little from the mainstream?
Try now.
Yeah, hold it far.
I'm old, but I remember being 13, 14, 15, seeing people and not believing them, I always say there's that smile. Hey, come on in, yeah. That's that fakeness. And I saw that in music. There's a lot of music I didn't believe. I thought people were, just as a lot of times they tell you what you want to hear, they're singing songs that they hope you would buy. And I don't think it's believable. I think it's one thing to say things, and with a lot of rock bands to say things, but you know they're in their, you know, their Rolls Royce, and they're living a whole different life, and it's not believable. And I think that most people have that choice to choose. Some people choose not to see it, but believability is important. And you see what they say, and then you see how they live their life, and it's a hypocrisy. And I think most rock stars are like actors. You know, they're playing a part. And I remember when we did our first record, people said, "Mike, you'll never do anything looking like that. You got to dress this way. You got to change this. You can't do music like that. You got to do this and that, or no one's gonna like you." And I'm like, well, what good is it that if people like me, but I don't like myself? You know. And I want to do what I like, and if people don't get it, I don't care. I think that's the problem that, and my dad told me before I got into music, do things to get other people to quote unquote like you. Do things because you like it. And there's too many people trying to be liked, and they end up hating themselves. So there's no purpose. And I think, you know, in music, it's believability, and there'll be a lot of people that won't like Suicidal. But I guarantee you, if they're at the show on Saturday, they go, "That dude believes in what he's doing." And that's the difference, you know. I'll get knocked down, I'll keep getting back up. Have my nose broken 9 times by the police, this and that. But I'm still here. They're not going to change me. That's life. You know, it's my life. And I think that's the difference. A lot of people say what they think people want to hear, whether it's protest or whatever, but they're not doing anything about it. So that's my take.
Ele disse que ele se lembra quando ele tinha tipo 13. Quando ele tinha 13. Que legal, mas tipo assim, muita música que ele escuta hoje em dia ele não acredita. Entendeu? Então ele disse várias vezes sobre ser acreditável. Então assim, muitas pessoas elas escolhem não enxergar o que está acontecendo na frente delas. Muitos artistas hoje em dia eles são como atores. Né? Ah, você vai se vestir desse jeito, você vai cantar assim, Rolls Royce, e na verdade não é isso. Você tem que fazer exatamente aquilo que você quer, do jeito que você gosta, né? Você tem que acreditar. Essa é a palavra. Ele, no começo ele também não acreditava no Suicidal, ele achava que não ia, sabe? Mas é isso aí, ele persistiu e a banda tá aí. Next. Consta.
Passar primeiro na frente, depois a gente faz atrás.
Hi guys, Marta from Imprensa do Rock. Marta from Imprensa do Rock. My question is for David. David, you have played in many bands before, including Slayer. How do you feel? How do you feel like playing Suicidal Tendencies? What are the differences between Suicidal Tendencies and other experiences you have had?
Well, it feels amazing to be in Suicidal Tendencies. First of all, I was a fan of Suicidal. I was a fan for many years of Suicidal. And I think that the common thread between, you know, the bands I choose to play with is honesty in a way. You know, we believe in what we're doing, and I see that and feel that in Suicidal 100%. So, and it's enjoyable for me to perform in this band because I know when we go on stage, we all feel it. And that's one thing I love about this band is that we're psyched. We're excited every night. We have this little kind of like routine that we do before we go on stage. It's very special because we get charged up. You know, we get all excited, like, all right, here we go. And once we do that moment, it's like, all right, guys, whatever happens, let's just keep going. You know, it's like, and it's real. And I've been a big fan of not only Suicidal, but Mike as well as a human, as a person. And I'm very honored to be in this band. And I love this band, period. Wow. bam, damn.
Assim, ele tá realmente muito animado, tá tocando com o Suicidal, que na vida dele ele passou sim por muitas bandas, mas ele escolheu todas elas pela honestidade. E é isso que ele vê com o Suicidal, isso que ele sente isso com a banda. Eles estão assim, animados quando eles vão tocar, e é isso que mais importa pra ele, né? Tipo, não importa o que for que acontecer, let's do it, vamos fazer, vamos tocar. Então esse que é a honestidade, é isso que mais... E ele tá a fim de fazer shows, let's do it.
Perfect.
Oh, I wanna do it again, let's see.
No!
I don't know if it's a trick, I think now it's gonna work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Try we got no bass out of
Okay, cool. So we need the other one for the... Okay.
Yeah.
It's on. Just like that, it's on.
Next one.
Não, em português, ok? A primeira vez, acho que a primeira vez que eles vieram pro Brasil foi em 94, durante o Monsters of Rock. Acho que só o Mike estava na banda. E queria saber quais as lembranças que ele tem dessa época, do Monsters of Rock no Brasil. E na época era o Robert Trujillo que tocava baixo com eles. E se eles têm contato, se ele tem contato ainda com o Robert Trujillo.
This one I knew it. The first time that you played here in Brazil was 94 in Monsters, and the lineup we got Trujillo.
Yeah.
So tell them about it just a little, and memories about that time. What you remember that?
Oh, wow.
And if you still have contact with Robert.
Yeah, actually, we're just in France, and Robert's wife is French. But I texted him to congratulate him about his son.
Yeah.
Shows with Korn.
Is that one?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we're always in contact, and you know, Robert's a really good person. He has a lot more patience than I do. The times that I'm around him, I'm amazed at how people are, I guess, unfocused on the situation. He might be eating with his family. People just, Robert, you know, just almost like, wow, you know, he's got his kids there and everything, and here, give me this, call my friend, blah, blah, blah. And he's very so polite and handles it very well, where I'd be like, that's my 8-year-old kid, get the fuck back, you know what I mean? But I didn't say that, But yeah, no, he's just a really good person, and amazing bass player. My Robert story is the first show we did was actually in '89 in Germany with opening up for Anthrax, and he came out there and we were playing, and he started just slapping the bass and playing, and Scott and Charlie afterwards were like, where the fuck did you get that guy from? And he just always has a really great positive attitude, and I think Robert is a big reason why, you know, behind the scenes why Metallica's still there, because he has an excitement and a love for music that I think that they get reminded when you're that big. Sometimes maybe you forget, you see different problems and rock star problems, but I think he reminds them of what music, what you're supposed to be doing, and I think that comes across. And I'll say this too, we toured Metallica, and I think Jason was probably a lot of heart and soul in Metallica too, so even though you don't hear their bass as much as maybe some people would like, I think their bass players are very important to their band.
Ele sim tem um pouco de contato com o Trujillo, né? E, inclusive ele mandou um e-mail para ele, parabenizando pelo Thai, né? Pelo show que eles fizeram com o Korn, a tour que eles estão fazendo com o Korn. que definitivamente ele é muito mais paciente com crianças do que ele, né? Crianças sempre causando em volta e ele é sempre muito paciente. Sobre, ele falou um pouco do Metallica, né? Que agora com eles o Metallica parece que está um pouco mais, né, suando do jeito que deve ser. Mesmo que teve outros baixistas como Jason, né, que mesmo que você não escutava o baixo dele, mas é uma parte importante, né? E yeah, that's it.
Leandro, da revista Road Crew. O Suicidal Tendencies sempre foi uma banda teoricamente politizada, e a cena hardcore norte-americana sempre teve muito contato com músicos ou com descendentes mexicanos. Qual a sua opinião em relação ao Donald Trump?
We understood that.
You always, in your lyrics, you say some about politics and stuff, and you have contacts with Mexican people, yeah. And what's your opinion about Trump?
Oh, man.
Yeah, what the?
As we said, Ross said, he's already in America, they can build the wall. Cut that. I think one of the things we say is, yeah, see, that's happening right now. I don't like politics. Destroys the heart of people. I believe that it's almost like religion in the sense that people are waiting for someone to save them. And my dad always told me politics isn't the answer. You know, your heart and your effort is the answer. Don't believe people. You know, people when they tell you what they want you to hear, it's not the truth. And I think that on the small picture, we sometimes focus on the little things and lose the big picture. There's a lot of fucked up things in the world. We just got back from France. There's people that are reacting to reactions, and it's getting back to the point where people feel hopeless, and that's when the world is bad, when people feel hopeless, because you know, politics will never be the answer. Politics don't give a fuck about you. You know, it's about power, and power is about maintaining power rather than change. And I see it in every country. I think, unfortunately, coming from a humanistic point, I think a lot of people and a lot around the world like Trumps because they can divert the focus on what's happening in their countries. You know, there's a lot of fucked up shit everywhere. And I think the point is like, you know what, we gotta remember what life is about. It's about human beings and not just surviving, but having a purpose, you know. And I think anything that takes away from that, which politics does a lot, is unfortunate. Because, you know, going back to the last question, I did answer it. You know, the first time I came to Brazil, I had so many friends that came to Venice that were from Brazil, and they're saying, I can't wait for you to play my country. And then you get there, and they're, especially in 1993, they're like, okay, you gotta be careful, you know, you can't go here. And you see a lot of things, good and bad, and I go, this is like the hood in Venice, you know, you can't go certain areas, and you realize divisions that are created from people for bullshit, you know, and people like divisions, and I don't like divisions, you know. I think it doesn't accomplish anything. And when you do shows and you see people that are so good and have so much passion, and you realize that their life is being fucked up for bullshit reasons, it's really sad. And you like just want to tell people, it's like, keep fucking fighting, you know. And I in general, you can say anything. Clinton hater, Trump hater, and it's not just I hate people to hate, because I hate what they represent, and what they represent is not people, the essence of what life is, people believing in themselves. You know, it's like my dad played football in college. My dad played football in college, but he never wanted me to play football. You know, he wanted me to have my own life. My brother became a pro skateboarder and did music. My sisters, they had the whole thing, and when I have my kids, people say, oh, are they going to be in a band? Are they going to be skating? I don't know. It's their life. They need to have their journey. And I think that we've we've forgotten that everybody's life should be a journey, not because someone's better than someone else, but because they can accomplish something. I would never be able to be a doctor. I'm so thankful that there's doctors. I had back surgery. I was so thankful that they went through the sacrifices. I appreciate when people accomplish things and follow their dreams. I get bummed when I see people that anywhere in the world where they're fucked up on drugs and this and that, and you go, you don't know the story, but there's family and the pain and all that. It doesn't matter where you're from. And so I think it's sad when people don't fully embrace what life should be, you know, it's a gift.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Sorry.
No, you're expressing yourself, dude. That's it.
Oh, yeah, we don't like
I lost myself here also. Não, but ok. Ele voltou um pouco falando sobre 1993, né? Que naquela época a gente não podia ir ali, não podia ir aqui, e lá também era mais ou menos isso, era mais ou menos a mesma coisa. E as pessoas, elas gostam de divisões, ele não gosta de divisões, né? Ele acha isso muito ruim. Ele deu o exemplo tipo, da família dele, do irmão dele que virou skateboarder, né? O irmão dele foi fazer outra coisa. Então ele acha que ele nunca seria um doutor, um médico, por exemplo. Ele não teria, mas ele aprecia esse tipo de coisa porque as pessoas, elas têm vontade de fazer. Elas fazem aquilo que elas querem, né? That's it.
Yeah. So last thing.
Last thing, my dad always said, never become who you hate. And I have a friend, he's a councilman in LA, and they're, you know, obviously a Democrat. And I said, you know what? They got all these people now that are on the other side, they're like Trump. And I'm like, if you hate something, try to do something better, you know, something positive. And I think that don't ever become what you hate, you know? And you see people that are talking and I go, dude, you sound like the other spectrum of Trump. You know, it's just hate and it's just do something positive. And when politics becomes positive, when someone actually listens instead of talks, when someone actually cares about people rather than power, then I'll vote. But until that time, I've never voted, and there's nothing I'll vote for, you know?
O que ele está querendo dizer é o seguinte, o pai dele sempre disse, nunca torne a pessoa que você odeia. Então assim, esse lado dessa raiva, ser raivoso, isso tenta ser completamente o oposto disso. Tenta fazer alguma coisa pro bem. Tenta fazer alguma coisa good, boa para as pessoas. E não mais ódio, porque isso não resolve absolutamente nada. Então vamos tentar fazer sempre alguma coisa positiva. That's it.
Thiago, do Combate Rock. No último show do Suicidal em São Paulo, durante uma música, vários fãs subiram no palco e interagiram com vocês ali na hora. E há uns anos atrás teve o caso do vocalista do Lamb of God que acabou empurrando sem querer um fã e acabou acontecendo um acidente. E queria saber como eles reagem quando os fãs sobem, qual que é esse tipo de interação que eles têm com os fãs nessa hora.
Last concert. Oh, come on, last concert here in São Paulo. Remember that a lot of people coming up to the stage and stuff. Yeah. So a couple of years ago happened something, an accident. Someone just pushed and the guy had an accident. How you guys, how you see that? How you behave in this kind of situation? Especially when you have a lot of people there on the.
Our show? No, not our show.
No, not in your show. Yeah. So it was the Lamb of God case, you know.
Oh, okay.
So what's your opinion about it, and how you react when you have this crowd and stuff?
Yeah, that is a big difference. They did want people on stage.
Yeah.
I one of the first shows I ever went to, I jumped on stage. It was a great feeling, and I think that a lot of times people want to have a separation, and we like to break the separations down. And I remember when I got on stage and that feeling, doing stage dives, things like that. It's a great situation. We've had a number of people in France with kids and let them sit up on the drums when Dave's playing drums and stuff, you know. And we called this one kid up, and he was literally, and we're like, wow, he's excited. 5 minutes later, we're like, get a doctor, you know, he's gonna pass out. And but it's the whole thing we get is a lot of times people will do shows, they want to remind people or to get them to forget about their problems. We want to remind people every moment is your part of your life, you know, and you can live it or you can take pictures and let other people react to it, you know. And so I try not to be a hypocrite. And I love people. Sometimes they love you a little more than you want to be loved. And I was saying earlier, my son, we just got back from France, and he came, 12-year-old son, came to a bunch of shows, and they're very passionate too. And may I kiss you? You know, guys, I'm like, I'd really rather not. And some guy got down and kissed my foot. He goes, someone kissed Dada's foot to show. I thought I'd never seen that. But when people are doing things for the right reason, when they're just have such a great feeling, I think that's important rather than just people. I never went to shows to get drunk and I'd have my friends say, dude, it was so great, I was so wasted, I don't remember anything. And I'm like, if you don't remember anything, how great could it have been? And so sometimes we want to be the kick in the ass to people, to remind them that you know, life isn't always pretty. You know, but if you're gonna make it ugly, it's gonna be real ugly. And also, you gotta do your thing, whatever it is, you know. And just, if you believe in what you're doing, you're gonna be a lot better off than if you're doing what someone else wants you to do.
Assim, o que ele disse no começo foi que, lógico, né, o Lamb of God, a diferença é que eles não gostam que sobe no palco deles, né? E ele disse que no último show deles, ele pulou no stage, e a sensação foi muito boa, a sensação foi, né, de se sentir vivo. E eles gostam desse lance de quebrar regras, né, porque, não pode, então nós vamos fazer, né, por isso que ele pulou, né. Todo momento é um momento para se viver. Então esse de pular, o jump, é um momento que você escolhe. Ou você tira foto, ou você vive ele, né? Então, que nem ele disse que o filho dele estava no show e tal, aí teve um cara que foi cumprimentar, e disse, posso beijar o seu filho? Puta, eu não gostei muito dessa ideia aí não, mas puta, ok. Né? E cada show é uma energia totalmente diferente que a gente tem que viver.
Check.
Okay. Oi, Camila, da revista Modern Drummer Brasil, para David Lombardo.
Where is she?
Queria que você comentasse um pouco das suas partes, né, no disco e quais as principais contribuições que você trouxe para a sonoridade da banda.
Yeah, comments about your parts. Just make comments about the parts in producing the new record, and then what kind of the style you bring to the band, the contribution.
Well, the first thing I did, I mean, there's really not much I did. I just referred to the past, you know, and Suicidal Tendencies and myself, I mean, we go back before the first Slayer album, probably 1982, at the Concert Factory. And I think we've discussed this, and we were just Slayer was just a local band. And so my history goes back, you know, really far with Suicidal Tendencies, and the influence is very profound. The first album, I remember driving a van, you know, up to San Francisco and Seattle with with Slayer, and singing suicidal songs. So we were connected in a lot of ways at a very early stage in my career, in my life. And so their music, Mike's music, influenced me in a lot of ways. So we definitely
when I recorded the music, I tried to capture that early. Do I have a gate on my? No gates, no compression, no gates on my drums. Okay, thank you. So the music and the style goes back very far, and I tried to implement that into the new Suicidal album. I hope that makes sense.
For me, does, yeah. Ele disse que ele voltou muito no tempo, que como ele disse antes, ele sempre foi muito fã do Suicidal, que ele lembra que o Slayer era apenas uma banda local ali, né? E você lembra uma vez dirigindo o carro e cantando as músicas do Suicidal, né? Que a música do Mike sempre influenciou muito ele, né? Ele sempre esteve muito conectado, eles estiveram sempre muito conectados. Então, that's it.
Yeah. One more thing. To show you how profound and deep the Suicidal and Slayer connection was, Rocky George was a very good friend of Jeff Hanneman. So there's a major connection there. Jeff loved the Suicidal sound, and you know, there's a lot of deep admiration for the band.
I get emotional when you hear this. Ele disse que...
You're crying, man.
Yeah, almost. Que assim, a última coisa que ele quis dizer é que assim, é tão profundo essa conexão entre o Suicide e o Slayer que o Rock George, vocês sabem, né, o outro guitarra, e o Jeff, eles eram muito amigos. E o Jeff gostava muito das músicas do Suicidal, então é uma coisa que ele volta muito ao passado, é uma coisa realmente muito profunda, muito forte.
Hey guys, eu sou o Thiago HC no ar. You guys have been in a road for a while now, and you have heard for sure all sorts of things. What did you hear that changed or still influence your way to play, your way to think the songs, everything that you're doing now?
Oh yeah.
Deep,
come on, deep.
Deep.
Okay, let me wake up. Could you repeat that?
No, you know, we're influenced by, you know, all types of music, of course. We're musicians and we love music, and I'm influenced by these guys mostly, and I'll say that in a selfish way because I feel like we're one of the best bands in the world. When I play with these guys, I get inspired. You know, like having Dave in the band now is just inspirational. Obviously, I've been with Mike. I'm in 2 bands with Mike, and you know, they don't call him Psycho Michael for nothing. As you know, he's very creative in ways that you guys don't even see, and he's taught me so much. I learned how to play true punk rock from this man, and I give that credit to him. And we were talking about Robert before. Robert introduced me to Mike, which was one of the coolest things in the world. Robert was a really cool person to do that. I was in a garage band with Robert, and playing with Jeff. Phenomenal guitar player, raw, of course. Yes, Chile has funk. Y'all didn't know that Chileans can funk. So, you know, and obviously I'm influenced by other bands too, but yeah, I do, you know. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Ele foi assim, na verdade, a maior influência dele são esses caras que estão aqui, né? Que eles são influenciados por todos os tipos de música, mas tipo, ter o Dave na banda agora é muito inspirador, saca? Ele junto com o Mike, eles já tocaram em outras bandas, tocaram em 2 bandas, que foi muito legal na vida dele, foi que o Robert, foi ele, o Trujillo, que apresentou o Mike pra ele. Então, pra ele, assim, a grande influência, na verdade, são eles.
Hi guys, Em português, right? Sou a Ana do Metal Revolution. Eu queria perguntar para o Mike, o Suicidal tem uma carreira de um longo tempo. Eu queria perguntar qual que são as principais mudanças que ele vê no cenário, o que ele vê que evoluiu, o que ele acha bacana e o que ele acha que era melhor na época que a banda iniciou.
Yeah, you guys, you have the Suicidal, it has a very long career, and I will see the change in the scenario here, in the industry in general.
Take it.
So, yeah.
Working? Oh, Lord. When I was young,
So!
Fuck this shit.
When I was young, they had shag carpet and bell bottoms. I never liked shag carpet and I never wore bell bottoms. And we call it what's black metal material. Where people have pictures of stuff that they wish did exist. But I think with Suicidal, I didn't want to do what someone else was doing. I wanted to do something that I thought was cool. There were certain things in metal that I liked. There were certain things in punk I liked. I told the story, the first punk show I went to, I was like, wow, this is amazing. A week later, I went to the next one, and it was the worst thing I'd ever been at. And if I would have went to that one first, I probably would have never got into the music that I did. And I realized it's not the title, it's the content. And there's, and said what I like, and I'd say, oh, there's some bands you like. I said what I don't like, there'd be millions of bands that I don't like. And so to me, it's something that it's not trying to fit in. My dad always said the only people that try to fit in are the ones that can't stand out. And we got, and you look at the old punk fanzines, they just ripped us apart because we weren't punk. Oh, you can't do that. The metal magazine said we sucked because you're not supposed to do this and that. You look at the magazines, everybody looked a certain way. You turn the page, and it's like, who is this? And everybody was telling us what we could and couldn't do. And it was like going, hey, you know what, we just want to do what we're doing. So with every record we did, we were more kind of changed our sound, even though we had success in what we did previous, where most people, they try to do what they think people will like. And like I said, if you don't like what you're doing, it doesn't really matter. And now kind of tying it in with what you had said before, we sit here and go, you know what, we don't want to be a nostalgia band. We want people that on Saturday when they see us here, there'll be some people that have seen us 7 times, some people see us for the first time. And the one thing that we get across is people are going to go, there's nobody that believes in what they're doing more than what we do. And we're not there because it's a job. It's because we don't want to be with our families or this or that. It's, I want to make the impression on people the way the few shows that really blew my mind did. And for those reasons, rather than the ones where I said, what the fuck is this? And the one thing people will know is, sweat don't lie. We get up there, and we're there because we want to be. And if we didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be here right now. I miss my kids. Before I go to the airport, Daddy, don't go! And I'm like, oh, okay, But when we're on stage, it's like, you know what? I want people to know Suicidal believes in what they're doing. And regardless of all the articles, you can go back when people said how terrible we were, or how we're not supposed to do this, we didn't fit in. I don't really give a fuck, No one's gonna knock us off that stage. And there'll probably be people that'll sit there and go, you know what? When Dave's on drums, he's not faking it, And especially at our age, one of the other things that was profound, I went to, and I must have been probably 17 or 18, and there was a band that probably was late 20s, and I said, there's nothing worse than seeing an old band playing bad punk rock. And I always remember that. And now I'm way older than that. I want people to know that when we're doing a show, we're here because we want to be. And we're Suicidal. We're not trying to be anything else than that, and there's no one that believes in what we're doing more than I do. And
depois de tantos anos tocando no Slayer, você vem enfrentando um ambiente diferente dentro do Suicidal, que não muda o jeito de tocar praticamente, né? E eu gostaria de saber se também é um desafio para você estar no Suicidal, trazer os fãs do Slayer a gostarem também do Suicidal. E para a banda, eu gostaria de saber como vocês estão enxergando a cena hardcore atual, porque se comparado aos anos 90, está bem diferente.
Okay, first Dave, you played for many years in Slayer, and you've changed it a little, the way you play it, and how it's going to be there, and for the band, and about the guys, if some Slayer fans, if you can bring them to Suicidal Tendencies side also, yeah, and from the band, how you guys see the hardcore scene nowadays is different than what the past or now.
What was the question for you? I didn't get that.
Okay, for you, you played how many years in so many years in Slayer?
Yeah.
So and you've been changed the way you play it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so talk about this a little,
yeah.
And about if you can bring some Suicidal fans into Slayer fans into Suicidal fans.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I mean, I see a lot of Slayer shirts in Suicidal shows, so I feel that definitely I'm bringing some of the fans over, but they can't deny the influence that Suicidal and Slayer, you know, have had on each other in the history of thrash metal. There was a deep underlying influence between, you know, at least Suicidal to Slayer. I know that for sure. I think that's it.
About the way you played, you changed it?
Did I play? Oh, change it? No, I didn't change much of my style of playing. I felt very comfortable in playing Suicidal's music. For one, not only the thrash element in Suicidal and punk element, but also there's a funk element in Suicidal, which I love, because I love when bands bring styles, different styles into music, so into their own style. So bringing elements, other elements, and other influences, and bringing that into metal, I think it's good. And yeah, we're awesome.
Okay, I'm going there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going there. And how you guys see the hardcore scene nowadays, the difference comparing the past from now?
Well, I think the big difference is, you know, when we started out, there was all these riots. You have situations where you drive to a show and you're 10 blocks away and you see a bunch of police cars lining up and they're putting tape over their badges, and they used to say punk rock riots, but they were police riots. And there wasn't cameras and all those things. People just couldn't film, so people would get their asses beat back in the day. A lot of times people that are younger, they say, oh, I wish I could go to one of those old shows. I said, nah, you'd be too scared to. And not as putting them down, but you know, there's some of the riots. I mean, we played in East LA, it was in the hood, you know. There were areas that people didn't go to, and then you had the police that were scared to go to there. So they would bring in 4 or 5 cities of police, and when they came there, they were going to get their money's worth, so to speak. So it was a whole different time, you know. There's completely different time, whereas now they're people's mommies and daddies driving the shows and things like that, and you know, there's not that element where it was a commitment, and you know, literally it was like a horror movie sometimes. So that doesn't exist, you know. Now it's just another form of music. you know. And to a certain degree, it's unfortunate that was the way that it was. But there was a deep-rooted hatred for punk rock and a certain fear in the early '80s and what was going on, you know, in America and stuff like that. So it was difficult. I mean, I've been beat down by the police a bunch of times, like I said before. You know, they handcuff you, take you around the corner, in the alley, for the cars. You hear that's him, and then you go, this ain't good. You know, so yeah, you get to beat down. To serve, protect, no.
Yeah. Havia algumas situações, né, lógico que no passado eram bem mais difíceis, né, que você achava que você tinha os direitos punks, né, mas não tinha, eram os direitos da polícia. Né? Então era meio difícil, tinha os lugares que, como ele disse antes, tinha lugares que eles não podiam ir, né, você tinha que olhar assim, pra cima, e aí um caos, falava, puta, não vou apanhar de novo. Então, realmente era uma cena de horror, especialmente no comecinho dos anos 80 ali. Foi momentos bem difíceis, não era muito legal, não.
I'm Haki from Tenho Mais Discos Que Amigos, and I want to know about your relationship with music. How do you guys collect music? Back in the times that Suicidal started, people used to get music by vinyl, buying records, collecting the covers, and talk about music with friends. And now we have the digital music and all these kind of sharing ways of sharing music. So I want to know how are your relationship with music and digital media and quality?
Real quick, just my opinion, I rely on music like crossing my path. I don't go out and search for music, but let's say if a friend says, Dave, you gotta listen to this band, check out this band, and I'll get on my iPhone and write it down, and then I'll go to Amoeba or a music store, and then I'll go search out that music and maybe go to YouTube and listen to it. That's how I do it.
I think the big difference. So, when I was young, you have your friend come over and go, dude, you gotta listen to this. You would go to record stores, like you said, you look at the cover, you would hear things, and because you didn't have money, if you bought something, it was an investment. But now on the other side, jumping like board, like my kids, if say 25 years ago someone said you can listen to any music you want for 2 hours, you'd be listening to music for 2 hours. Now because at any time you can listen to it, music doesn't have as much importance, I think. My kids always say, Dada, did you used to, when you were little, play this? I go, it didn't exist. It didn't exist! What did you guys do? And I was like, well, you know. So there's so many things going on that music now, I think, doesn't have that same background, have that same feeling. So it makes things harder because it is free. So when something's free, it has no value. And how do you create value? It's making that connection not just through the ears, but when people hear it in the heart. That's the hardest thing to do. So you can give songs out to everybody, you can do this, but unless you can make that connection where people, they feel it and they go, I get that. That's the hard thing to do, and that's hard when there's so much other things around and that you didn't have when you were easier. So we just sit there and go, remember the bottom point is people are people, and that's why I always say, I use the example when I was 16. If I heard it, would I feel it? And that's what we try to do, is just stuff that, you know, people will feel.
Thank you.
O Dave disse que assim, ele não procura por bandas, ele não procura por bandas assim na internet e tal. Se por acaso vem algum amigo e aí ele indica para ele alguma banda, aí sim ele vai, pega o iPhone dele, ele pega o iTunes, aí ele vai, ele procura, é assim que ele vai, mas procurar ele não procura. O Mike disse que assim, entre várias outras coisas, que a música não é mais como era antigamente, que os filhos dele às vezes chegam e falam para ele, pai, você toca isso aqui, e fala, não, mas então, nossa, o que vocês faziam antes, cara? Não faziam nada. Então assim, realmente é uma coisa que para ele, a música tem que ter conexão com o coração. Look at that. A música tem que ter conexão com o coração. E é muito difícil você fazer isso, né? Hoje em dia isso não existe mais.
Gente, eu sei que vocês querem muito, tem muita gente querendo fazer pergunta, mas a gente tem que terminar. Portanto, muito obrigado a todos. Thank you so much, guys, for your patience.